People with friends with benefits, how do you guys not develop feelings towards them? Before we start with the first story, please hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. I seriously always do. That's why after many years of minor heartbreaks, I learned over time that I'm not a friends with benefits kind of girl. And that's okay, not everyone is. And it's shocking to me how some seem to go through life without any. Most get it at some time through their life, but there are some souls out there who die without knowing themselves. Actually, a scary thought. I can feel that for people, but don't need to do anything about it, and I don't get jealous, so if things end, it's only a little sad, but I just remember it being nice. I know I'm a little unusual in this though. Story 2. Be hopelessly in love with someone who you know you can't have. That way you remain emotionally dead inside and can just focus on the here and now and having fun with a FWB. Some days are better than others, but it's still an everyday thing. Just something I live with, for right now at least. I've had several good and bad relationships since then, learned a lot and grew up a bit and made plenty of mistakes along the way. Still, she wasn't even my first love, but she was the love, if that makes sense. We went through my cancer treatment together when I turned 21. Just thought that what we had was special, until 7 years in she told me it was not special to her, and then left without a word. That silence reverberates through space and time inside of me. Story 3. The trick is to be emotionally dead inside. I could never be FWB before I had my heart broken without developing feelings. Once I had my heart broken, I've never ever developed feelings for another. I can sleep with them, have an absolute ball with them, and do all sorts of things that would be considered romantic, yet not catch feelings. It's nothing to brag about though. I want more than anything to feel them again. I distance myself from them as soon as they developed feelings for me which I deemed as clingy, and move on to new green pastures. Still sorta dead inside, and therapy alcohol didn't help much. So I usually tell people I know I love my wife, as sort of a reminder. One of those cognitive tricks, I guess. Story 4. Honestly, we just make sure to keep our expectations in check. No dating vibes, no future plans. It's just about enjoying each other's company at the moment. We just communicated. We both knew it wasn't a thing. It was just fun. And trying to make it a thing would ruin it. She got a boyfriend, we stopped. She married him a few years later, and we still talk casually sometimes. The main point of friends with benefits is being friends, not the benefits. If you establish that, it's pretty easy. But we did go out a lot and even took a trip out of town. Story 5. Man here. For me personally, it all comes down to compatibility. If I know the person I am sleeping with would be an awful girlfriend, it makes it impossible for me to develop feelings. In my opinion, once you start saying to yourself, I could potentially see myself dating this person, you're probably cooked. There's usually a deal breaker or something about their personality that I can only take in small doses that keeps me from crossing into having feelings. But the lovemaking is okay or great, and you have to actually like them as a person. It's the perfect arrangement when you want to remain single. Story 6. I've had a couple over the years, and I would say that they were successful because whilst the intimacy was super fun and we both got on really well, we both were on the same page that we didn't have the potential to be in a serious relationship. For a variety of reasons, e.g. commitment issues, incompatible lifestyles, other priorities, etc. So whilst I would consider these people my genuine friends, there weren't romantic feelings involved because I knew there was no potential for the relationship to go any further than what it was. Story 7. Same happened with me in my early 22nd. The intimacy was great, and we hook up or start talking on the phone, and next thing you know, one of us was over at some point. However, our lives were in odd places. I worked straight morning to afternoon. She was late at night and went to parties on a regular basis. I was worried about paying my rent. But we liked to talk to each other, but at the same time, we were just not the best at being a couple. Heavy in the bedroom, sure, and a few other things. I also think she loved my shoulder rubs. She enjoyed those a bit more than the intimacy. How did things end? Her parents owned a farm, and the country brought up their land. They left, and she decided to take her share, and went back to school up north. Ended after that, and I ended up dating an old friend of mine for 2 years. Last I heard, she got married and had a family. Story 8. A serious commitment would involve exclusivity and an understanding that we are top of each other's priority lists with regards to other people. So things like prioritizing spending time together over other things. Also probably working towards a common goal, life together. In your situation though, I think if you are clear that you don't want something serious, commitment, but enjoy being friends with the people you are having a sexual relationship with, and they are developing feelings, then, in a way that's not on you, you're not leading them on by being their friend. But unfortunately, they may not have the capacity for a casual relationship in the same way you do, so that may be a reason to call things off earlier. Story 9. The only time I've ever successfully had a friend with benefits situation where things didn't end in a raging dumpster fire was when I genuinely kind of disliked the guy. I guess I should say, I didn't dislike him per se, but I didn't really respect him. He was fun to hang out with socially, and really good in bed. But he was a small-time dealer, and I knew immediately he was not boyfriend material, or anyone I would ever date, so it was easy to not get attached and respond to him only when I felt like it. We went our separate ways with no drama. Once it stopped being convenient, we are still friendly, and I hold zero animosity toward him. But is it really healthy to be having regular relations with someone you actively dislike? Unclear, LOL. Story 10. Compartmentalize, I guess. Lovemaking is a physical thing for me. It's elevated if the feelings are there, that's intimacy. But if we're just buds and don't already have feelings, mashing parts doesn't make them magically appear. At least not for me. It's like if we were sparring or practicing wrestling. It's a physical activity we're doing together out of enjoyment. Too many people confuse lust with love too. You like how they make you feel, you like how this feels, and the waters get muddied. I didn't love you before I came, I shouldn't after. Story 11. I love my best friend, she is the closest thing I have to family. I would die for her. That said, she is absolutely exhausting to be around. Imagine that real high-achieving friend of yours when they're really productive, and they want to do something and accomplish something great. The type of guy that you really want to work with, and know you'll accomplish a lot with them. Except that's her 24/7. She is always on the move, and always wanting to be productive doing something. She can't stand to be still for any length of time. If you need to call someone because you need the oil on your car changed, the headlight fixed, research done to figure out what type of baby wipe is best for a newborn, how to fry chicken on a campfire, and what the best water bottle on the market is for hiking, and you need all of that done in the next 2 hours, she is absolutely your girl.
She will get those things done, and there is not a single reason to doubt it. If you need someone to sit and relax with you for a couple hours wanting a movie together, call someone else. There is no smoking crap and playing video games as part of her life, she just never stops moving. She is like a Belgian Shepherd police dog that always seems to have energy to do something. The time I get to spend with her is some of the funnest time of my life. But whenever we're done, I always feel like I just got back from an exciting vacation. It was fun, but now I'm ready to pass out. To put her extreme motivation in perspective, she just turned 29 and she already has her PhD from an Ivy League school. She went to one of the top business schools in the country, where she got her MBA, and before that she had double majored from NYU. This barely scratches the surface of her accomplishments.
It is truly amazing to me how much she has gotten done in life, which isn't surprising when you meet her and realize she just never stops moving. Story 12. First, you need to accept that you're not exclusive right from the beginning. This doesn't mean you're sleeping with other people, but acknowledge that they could be, and that there's nothing wrong with that. If neither of you are, then a decent way is to talk about previous partners. Second, it can't be intimacy all the time. You need to focus on friendship. Think of lovemaking as an activity. Make playing video games, binging TV, or trolling people online things that are just as likely to happen with you two as lovemaking is. Last, acknowledge the feelings that are bound to develop and rationalize them. You might end up liking them. So remind yourself of the legitimate reasons why a relationship wouldn't work, and talk to your friend about that stuff too. Focus on who your friendship is more important than a possibly failed relationship. Story 13.
This will probably get buried under the other thousands of comments, but anyways, I couldn't stop myself from developing feelings towards her. Even though we met through Tinder, and from the first date I realized how busy she was in general, mostly with her career. Down the line I completely forgot about this, and we kept talking on a daily basis, kept going on dates, etc. We never really talked about our feelings, or what we wanted, but in retrospect it was clear since the beginning that she didn't want anything serious, and that I was never a priority for her. I had a lot of fun, but I figured that I'm not made for being a FWB. I like commitment and stability. My advice would be to talk things out as soon as you get the chance to. Set your intentions and draw the lines you need to. I guess if I would have done that from the first date, I wouldn't be in the position I am now. Kinda grieving the loss, but in a very chill way. Still, I can't help but feel that I met the right person at the wrong time.
She was smart, my friends really liked her, and genuine. Also, the way she broke things off with me and gave me the closure I needed without even asking for it really confirmed to me that she is a good human being overall. Story 14. Feelings are not a black and white feel nothing versus fall desperately in love. If they're a friend, you likely already care about them even before intimacy, and spending more time with anyone will make you bond more. That's just being a human, and it'd be weird if you didn't feel closer to them over time. The difference is that you go in without the expectations that come with dating, and you are aware of the full spectrum of your feels. Just like you can feel close to your friends but not want to be deeply romantic with them, you can feel close but not want to pursue a relationship. If you're super lonely, you're a lot more vulnerable to grasping at whatever closeness you can get and ignoring flags that say you shouldn't. If you're generally happy and not so lonely, it's a lot easier to keep perspective and enjoy being close to that person while still being aware of what you want. Alternatively, you might discover you're a more solid match than you thought and start dating. The difference is expectations. Story 15. I've had 2 of those in my life. One of them is still regularly in my life, even 10 years after our physical relationship ended. We had been on and off for a long time, and finally, he asked me to think about the things I really wanted in a partner, and we made a plan to talk about it. I wrote it all down, every little thing I was feeling, and had him read it. He said he needed some time to think about it all, and in the end, he said he really wanted to be that person for me, but he just couldn't. That it was a him thing, not a me thing. We agreed to dial back our time spent together and just focused on evolving the friends part of our lives as they related to each other. I'm married to someone else now, but my friend is invited to every holiday and social gathering we throw. He and my husband are thick as thieves, and we enjoy each other's company, just differently than we used to. The other one actually just messaged me last night. We catch up about every 6 months or so. He's married too, but finds it a touch uncomfortable sometimes that he seems to like to reminisce about our relationship. I'm not sure if he is really over me even after 10 years or so, but we are otherwise still friendly. Alright folks, that's a wrap. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your those in the comment below.